Hey everybody, Gary Fong here. Wanted to come back onto YouTube and give you an update on the situation in Kelowna, touting itself as Canada's first 5G smart city solution, and some of the concerns that the town people brought up. I'm glad to be back because as soon as I posted that very innocuous video that many of you saw, YouTube found it interesting to take my site down for 5 days. My entire YouTube channel was taken down. Took me 4 hours to get it back and repopulate all of our SEO stats, which was, with 165,000 subscribers. That was kind of a concern. And they told me that a city official asked them to take the YouTube channel down. So if there's nothing to hide, then why would a city official need to do something like that? It's a very interesting thing. And so our concern in that video was simply focused on the 300 block of Bernard Avenue, where the mayor of the city announced his great excitement of this area being a 5G pilot surveillance area. And so that started Monday. Started to get messages from different people. Now this for example, my ears are always ringing, and now that you mention it, I was massaging my hands all day yesterday thinking maybe I'm getting arthritis. Now, this is a person who didn't know about the controversy. I was just asking, hey, are you hearing any ringing in your ears or any interesting things going on? Didn't know about the controversy. So one could say, oh, this is, power of suggestion, this is placebo effect, whatever. You tell people that radiation's on, all of a sudden they're going to start imagining things. But, one cannot discount what a patient presents. A physician is not allowed to say, you're fine, go home. You have to take the person's word for it. Now, the important thing is that we see the doctor and get a medical record down. I'll explain that in just a second. But someone wrote me on Instagram saying, I just don't understand how they can put it in without asking people who live here if they want it. And I said, well, how are you doing? Good. I've been getting debilitating migraines nonstop. And I said, where are you? Are you near Bernard? I'm on Clifton and Clement, so reasonably close, but I was in town the day the migraines started. Just brutal. I can barely look at my phone. Another one said, my brain actually hurts. I've also been having weird heart pain. As soon as I pulled into my condo yesterday, I had to stop for a second as my heart felt like it was going to jump out of my body. And in another video, I'll talk about this really good book called The Invisible Rainbow, and it talks about exposure to electromagnetic and electricity. It's basically the history of electronics, electricity, and human health. Another one in a room said, also, I've had headaches every day and all my joints aching. So we're getting headaches and joint aches, like my wrist, elbows, hands, and neck. Do you think I would be getting radiation at my house from downtown? Or are there more towers up close to me that I don't know about? I feel like crap lately. Someone else said, yeah, I feel similar. I'm a yogi and my joints all ache. My ears ring. Feels like they are popping all day long. I went camping and felt great to come home and feel shitty. So the common thing is joint aches, migraines, and this is all as of Monday. Okay, so these, as you can see, it says today on here. So one thing I'd like to remind you is the wonderful story of Aaron Brockovich. And people at the little town meeting that I said, well, what should we do? We need to picket about 5G, and we need to, and my advice to everyone is to say, hang on. The minute that you say 5G, then you immediately split the crowd, because right now, in times of fast-moving crisis on the news, people want to have a label. Are you a face mask person or not a face mask person? I had someone on Facebook actually say that if you go outside without a face mask on, you're no better than Ted Bundy because you're knowingly killing a lot of people on purpose. So there's absolutes right now. Are you a face mask person? Are you not? Are you Black Lives Matter, or will you not post the black square on your Instagram feed like everybody else? How dare you? There's just absolutes. Are you 5G or are you not 5G? Are you vax or are you anti-vax? So everyone wants to divide, and I don't think that's the right way to do it. I think the right way to do it is get and don't get the information and just instantly classify it. Oh, that came from CNN, that's fake news. Oh, that came from, or I trust Snopes. Anything, and I've heard people say, oh, I have no time to research this stuff all day. Well, when we were all in lockdown, what did you do all day? Oh, I watched the news. Maybe there's a little bit more research that might be possible here. But the wonderful story of Erin Brockovich, and if you don't know it, I strongly urge you to watch the movie. I think Julia Roberts starred in it, and it's wonderful because Erin Brockovich was a environmental activist, and she noticed that there was industrial health hazard that was happening, and she basically led a campaign to sue against Pacific Gas and Electric. And I really strongly urge you to watch this movie because it's a true hero story, different than ours, because back then it was harder to collect injury data, which is what they needed to do in order to bring everybody to justice. But they brought everyone to justice. They went around, they got evidence that people were hurt from the actions of PG&E, and in the end there was $333 million settlement, plus criminal prosecutions from many of the people who knowingly allowed this kind of thing to happen. And so my thing is to say this: that was a wonderful win. Second wonderful win is secondhand smoke. When I grew up, you could smoke in an airplane. There were non-smoking sections. There were smoking sections, smoking in restaurants and everything like that. And in Northern California, the federal court found that secondhand smoke causes cancer, and therefore knowingly allowing people to be exposed to cancer risk, those people would be liable, which is why right now Disneyland literally has signs that say you are entering a cancer area, because they do have areas for smoking. So that is the future. That is the same thing that happens here. Now, I'm not here to say, I will be here to say more about EMF radiation exposure and what it does to living tissue, maybe in a later video. But right now, I want to focus the topic to just this. Should there be people hurt by 5G, unable to work, migraines, head pains, joint aches, and then they go to the doctor and report this. The doctor has to put this on medical record. And should this become an issue, I mean, the IARC itself said that microwave radiation can cause glioma, which is a form of brain cancer. Then the people who thought it was okay to let 5G go out onto Kelowna, they will be held responsible. And that's the beautiful story about Erin Brockovich, and it's the beautiful story about how we got rid of smoking. Smoking was the number one lobby in the United States, ahead of National Rifle Association, and to think that they were able to, completely dismantle that entire thing, where now smoking is a very, very rarely seen thing outside in public. That was a huge victory, and these victories can all be won. So that if you can prove that people got hurt, and if you can prove that the powers that be that could have stopped it were told, then those powers that be can be held criminally and civilly responsible. So that's been my approach. When I told the people, they're like, should we do a change.org petition? Should we, do whatever? And I said, no, just write letters to the mayor. Let him know that he is relying on Canada's Safety Code 6, which is an outdated document, to hide behind that and say, hey, you know what, I'm doing the right thing. Well, actually, you're not doing the right thing, because I'm going to show you why Safety Code 6 does not apply right now. And knowing this, and this is the point, we can keep writing letters to the mayor. You have to understand that every letter that you write to the mayor becomes a matter of public record. So if you say, Mr. Mayor, you've written to all these people in the town saying that you're relying on Canada's Safety Code 6, may we bring it to your attention that there are these issues with Safety Code 6 alone? And then it'll go on the record that he knew, still let it go, and then, bang, there you go. So this makes everything easy for class action attorneys. And God help us, I hope no one gets hurt from this 5G. And I'll show you that it's not just 5G, but exposure to EMFs that do cause issues, and 5G is an accelerated method of that happening. So let's go to the mayor's statement, where he said, this is an exciting opportunity for Kelowna to build on the work we're doing to bring smart city technologies to our city, said Mayor Colin Basran. Now, what is the smart city technologies to our city? A smart city uses sensors connected to the internet to collect data, then uses it to improve the management of assets and resources like garbage collection, parking spaces, and traffic systems. Now, mind you, in that pilot program, there's 3 banks, 1 hotel, a couple little stores, a sushi restaurant, 1 pizzeria, literally maybe 35 parking spaces, trash collection things, and not only that, but they are actually blocking off that section to vehicular traffic so that it'll become a walk street. So any of this work that they're doing for traffic systems, that's going to be gone in just about a month. So why put that there? Sounds kind of weird. We'll get to that in a second. But the mayor has consistently said, my office is relying on Safety Code 6, Canada's Safety Code 6. Now, and Safety Code 6, as you can see right here, Health Canada's Radiofrequency Exposure Guidelines. Now, this is a publicly available document. I just want you to take a look at it with me. Fact sheet, what is Safety Code 6? This is from the Government of Canada. So this is something that you can look up. It's published, and read it for yourself. You don't need to have, someone on the news or someone from one of the telecommunications companies say, it's safe because of Safety Code 6. The first thing you'll notice down here on the bottom, it says the date that was modified was September 25 of 2015, well in advance of when 5G was actually available in the public. And it says that Safety Code 6 establishes and maintains a general exposure limit. So let's talk about that limit. Safety Code 6 defines that at frequencies below 10 megahertz, the first effect to be experienced is non-thermal nerve stimulation. Now, nerve stimulation could cause anxiety or maybe joint pain, so a tingling sensation, okay, maybe tinnitus, whatever. So below 10 megahertz, that's the first thing they see is non-thermal nerve stimulation. And again, I want you to very much embrace the Safety Code 6 because all the telecommunication companies are relying on it. Second thing is here. At frequencies above 10 megahertz, the first scientifically established effect to occur is heating. Now remember, this is microwave, so it can actually heat tissue. Numerous international expert panels reviews on this topic have issued the same conclusion. Therefore, the limits in Safety Code 6 for frequencies above 10 megahertz are therefore set below the level at which heating could occur. So basically what they're saying, at above 10 megahertz, heating will occur. So therefore, if I'm looking at the 4 corners of this document, it's touting that they are setting the level below which thermal effects would occur, therefore 10 megahertz. Kind of a poorly written document. A lawyer would say, we needed that cleaned up and we need that explained. So let's go to Wikipedia and let's talk about what 5G is. So here we go. High band 5G currently uses frequencies of 25 to 39 gigahertz. Now, in the last video, I used as an example 5 gigahertz, which is actually outside of 4G and is in the 5G spectrum. The reason one doesn't need to go into technicalities because then it's like, well, 5G is 5th generation, but also 5 gigahertz, and it just gets too much. So here we'll say 5G, 5th generation, currently uses frequencies of 25 to 39 gigahertz. Now, remember when you look back here, it says at frequencies above 10 megahertz, there's tissue heating, okay? So now we're looking at 39 gigahertz. What's a gigahertz or what's 30 megahertz? 39 gigahertz is 39,000 megahertz. So according to Safety Code 6, it's right here, it says limits in Safety Code 6 above 10 megahertz are set below the level at which thermal effects could occur. So it's basically saying you are safe to 10 megahertz, but lo and behold, 5G is 39,000 megahertz. And worse yet, the PR that it's getting, a lot of people know about this, and a lot of people have concerns. Like California banned 5G cell tower over claims it causes cancer. CBS this morning, 5G services coming, and so are the health concerns over the towers that support it. This is everywhere. Céline Frémont from the government of Brussels said, I cannot welcome such technology if the radiation standards, which must protect the citizen, are not respected, 5G or not. Look at her. The people of Brussels are not guinea pigs whose health I can sell at a profit. But apparently, the people of Kelowna are guinea pigs whose health someone can sell at a profit, because she won't do it. But here we have, lo and behold, that Kelowna's mayor is excited about bringing in technology to help us optimize trash collection along a one-block street, probably 11 waste receptacles. Now, the other thing, too, is I've just shown you how the 5G far extends, 39,000 megahertz, over 10 megahertz limit under the 5G code, which was then code 6, which was then updated in 2015. Now, the other thing is let's look at what 5G is. Is it millimeter waves? Well, you see right here, frequencies from 30 to 300 gigahertz, which is within that band that I just talked about, which are 10 to 100 times higher, higher frequency than the waves for 4G and Wi-Fi networks. Millimeter wave and massive MIMO are the two biggest technologies 5G will use to deliver the higher data rates and lower latency we expect to see. Millimeter wave technology, high frequency. Now, low power, they say, it's low power. You don't have to worry about it. It's much lower power than 4G, and that is actually true. And I'll tell you why that is. High frequency is like a tweeter on a speaker. You know what a tweeter is, right? So you've got three speakers. You've got the subwoofer, the mid-range, and the tweeter. If you go around the corner, you won't hear the tweeter, because the tweeter is unidirectional and doesn't. It's a very high frequency, so it easily killed. Whereas subwoofer is this low frequency, and if I've got a kid down there with a big subwoofer on his truck downtown, I could probably hear it way up here on the mountain. So that's why you have very, very low power transmission towers on 5G. Not the repeaters, but the ones that actually send to your phones. They have to be close. They have to be, they say one every 8 houses, okay? So one, don't worry about the radiation, because it's much less radiation than 4G. 4G being centimeter wave technology. They're absolutely right. It's much less power, because a tweeter requires much less power than a subwoofer. Okay, but here's the thing. It's millimeter wave technology rather than centimeter wave technology. In medical terms, that means that these pulses hit your skin 60 times per second, whereas hits your tissue 60 times per second. We already know at 10 megahertz, you're going to heat the tissue. Now we're hitting it with 39,000 megahertz. 60 beats per second, it's a lot. People say, well, that's it's so harmless that it won't even hurt your tissue. Well, if that's the case, then why can't I stand with my phone between me and the tower and still get phone signals? Those waves are going right through you. Now, it says high band currently uses frequencies of 29 to 39 gigahertz, which I just showed you, 39,000 megahertz, near the bottom of the millimeter wave band, although higher frequencies may be used in the future. Now, it download speeds of a gigabit per second, because you really need to scroll Tinder faster, of a gigabit per second, comparable to cable internet. However, get this, millimeter waves only have a limited range, requiring many small cells. They have trouble passing through walls, which is what I just explained to you. So we're talking about millimeter waves. We're talking about the gigahertz, high frequency gigahertz of this microwave energy. Now, lo and behold, microwave weapons. Let's look that up. And you can find this on Wikipedia also. Although some devices are labeled as microwave weapons, the microwave range is commonly defined as being between 300 megahertz and 300 gigahertz, which you just saw is in the 5G range, and they talk about millimeter length frequencies. These frequencies have wavelengths of 1 millimeter. So active denial system, this is crowd control, this is a weaponized target. This is called a microwave weapon. Listen to this, is a millimeter wave source, just like 5G, that heats the water in a human target skin and thus causes incapacitating pain. It was developed by the U.S. Air Force Research Laboratory and Raytheon for riot control duty. Though intended to cause severe pain while leaving no lasting damage, concern has been voiced as to where the system could cause irreversible damage to the eyes. There has yet to be testing for long-term side effects exposure to the microwave beam. The microwave millimeter beam. There is yet to be long-term testing for long-term side effects. Well, guess what? Guinea pigs of Kelowna, you are our long-term side effect. Well, at least we're going to find out, because we've heard people on Monday say, oh my gosh, I've got joint pain, I've got migraines. Multiple people, some who didn't even know that 5G was turned on, are complaining about this. And again, I want to say, go to your physician, get it on the medical record. Should there be a class action lawsuit where everybody has to go and explain what they did, find out where the money went, do depositions, have the turning over of documents and emails. We'll get to the bottom of it. We did it with Aaron Brockovich. We did it with secondhand smoke. We'll do it with 5G. You know, those of us who are absolutely freaking out, just understand that it's a lot easier than it used to be to find out what's going on. You have whistleblowers. You have people who've hacked into some of the email servers and are pulling out some very valuable information. But as a result, right now, 5G is not a very popular thing for tourists. Here's an article from the Millennium Report. 5G super hotspots. You better know where the kill zones are located. Here's one. 5G super hotspots are deliberately targeted venues where 5G has been amped up considerably. Okay, so and now this is something, and you know, many of you go, oh, you know, it wasn't a bat in a wet market that caused COVID. It was the 5G implementation. I'm not going to go there, but here's where I will go. Wuhan was the first 5G pilot program city. Wuhan was the first, and followed by northern Italy, then Spain, then New York City. And you can look at this on your own Wikipedia. Look at the actual news articles. This is Hubei, China. And down here, of course, the next thing you find for Smart City pilot program would be Kelowna. And even when I did a Google search, so I did a search for 5G pilot cities, and look what I got. The first result was Wuhan, and then right below that, Kelowna, 5G, make our city, Kelowna, first 5G solution. Then we go back to China again, but it's all about Kelowna, folks. Kelowna, man, we are 5G leaders because of the leadership of our mayor. I got this email from someone who saw my video on YouTube. It said, hey Gary, I've seen you video posts on 5G in Kelowna, and I'm of the same mind. In fact, though I support local businesses, especially after COVID, I will not be entering any businesses in the 5G pilot zone, and I've written to the mayor and council. I'll probably follow it up with a letter to RDCO and any business association for Kelowna. Business owners in that area should know that decisions like this will impact their door numbers, so hopefully some of them will speak up. I'm afraid of their health because it's, man, when you're hit with that many gigahertz of microwave energy all day long. Now, if I went to your house and I unscrewed the microwave door on your house, because this is the exact same thing, it is microwaves, and I just said, you know what, let's just leave the microwave on and just see how you do, because this is it's a pilot program. We want to see how long it takes you to take out your waste bucket. Or we want to know your walking patterns in the house. So I'm going to take the door off your microwave, because I'm telling you, it's the exact same thing. We're just going to turn it on and see what happens. That's what's happening right now, possibly, okay? What we have seen is that they say that there's no long-term effects. But hey, you know what? Brussels doesn't want to be a guinea pig, but Kelowna people, you can be guinea pigs. So anyway, spread the word. We will get through this. We will take down industrial hazards like Aaron Brockovich did, like secondhand smoke in California. These things in the end never do win. They never do, so don't be afraid. Okay? Thanks for watching.